Peter Gabriel was the one I was looking forward to the most,
Yeah.
but it wasn't my favorite.
Ooh.
My favorite was Depeche Mode, the first one they went to. And the reason why was, there was a time in Montreal around 1990 when Montreal was broke. Like the city was bankrupt. And
Is it now?
you could get an 8.5 for like $600, you know?
Wow, yeah.
And yet, despite the fact that we were in such financial dire straits in the city at that time, everybody still dressed up and went dancing on Boulevard Saint Laurent to music like Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
And it was an incredible time for creativity in Montreal. You know, Cirque du Soleil was starting then, and the Jazz Fest was just taking off, and Just for Laughs was just taking off, and La 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 Human Steps were changing the landscape of dance. And all this stuff was happening at a time when, you know, Montreal was in a pretty bad place economically anyways. And Depeche Mode would come twice every year, just like they did this year. And there was a magic in the building that night, and I was with Pierre. Actually, we were right beside each other. We both felt it. So as great as Dave Gann and Mark Gore were that night, and the music, the songs are timeless, what made that night so special was the audience.
Absolutely.
Really?
So everybody was dancing for the whole night, you know, in the rows, and everybody was singing along, and we had just come out of the pandemic, you know, and also their album was so significant because it was all about loss and mortality, losing Andy Fletcher, and we had just come out of the pandemic, so we all, you know, had experienced that a little bit more closely than we wanted to. So there was this feeling of celebration that night, and you know, I turned to Pierre and I said, "This is why I love Montreal. There is no other city in North America, anyways, where I would have felt like that night." And I just walked out of there. I was just floating. So that by far was my favorite show of the year.